What is up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Nina, and y'all know I am all about this TMI skincare, especially since you guys know my story of hidradenitis suppurativa, losing and keeping off over 100 pounds for 14 years, how that's affected my body, what it has done for my body care routine, my products, my shower routine, my shaving routine, getting rid of boils and scars, and things that have been quite effective for me. You guys have been writing into me and really being kind to me and letting me know some of your stories and some of the things you struggle with. So I've made it a point to do even more on this and make sure that I'm sharing all the things that have helped me and motivate you to be your best. You ain't got to give up on this. You can have the clear skin that you want if you're willing to work on it. So we're going to talk about all that today. So let's go. Y'all, don't forget to thumbs up this video if you like it, comment, share, and subscribe. And also click on those notification bells so you can know when I upload on Thursdays and Sundays. Make sure you also check out my Now That's Life podcast, which is now live, and you can check it out on all your major podcasting platforms. Links to my podcast can be found down below in the information section. And I'm really excited about today's video because it's highly requested. Many of you guys have written in and asked me to update my whole hidradenitis suppurativa routine. What's going on with those boils, the scars, how am I dealing with it, because many of you all have even gone to the doctor and been diagnosed yourself. So I wanted to make sure I gave the rundown of what's going on, some of my care plans, what's working, what's not working, some of my shower routine, shaving, things like that are common and everyday for me, those practices that have really helped to keep my skin pretty clear. And thank you so much for all the support and all the love and all the compliments about how well I've been taking care of my skin. And I'm telling y'all, it takes work, but I really want to share that with you. So if you're new to my channel, make sure that you click like, and I'm assuming you came to this video because you wanted to know more. Make sure that you check some of my older videos on this. I have several. I'll make sure I link some of the more recent ones down below, so check out the description box. But let me tell y'all what hidradenitis is. Hidradenitis suppurativa is a skin condition that takes many forms. Some doctors and researchers have referred to it as even somewhat like an autoimmune disease. It takes the form of small pimple-like bumps, deep acne-like nodules, or even boils. The lesions or these areas are really painful. Like, y'all, I well up with tears when I think about how painful they actually are. They grow in places that rub together or sweat a lot. Your armpits or in your growing area, or that area right there in the crease of your legs where it rubs together and chafes and cause a lot of sweating and also a lot of friction. So scars and tracks can develop under your skin after these lesions heal too. So sometimes these boils, these wounds, or these pimples can end up draining pus or things like that, and causing a lot of damage to the skin. This condition occurs when sweat glands or hair follicles become blocked and then inflamed. But some of the things that are thought to really aggravate it are various health conditions, smoking habits, and even your family history. It's not necessarily caused by infections or poor hygiene, so don't let anybody make you feel bad about yourself, saying you're dirty or nasty. You didn't do anything wrong or directly wrong to yourself to cause this issue. If you do have hidradenitis, or you believe that you do, you are not dirty. You're not a bad person. You have not done anything wrong. And y'all know every video I do on this, I cry. And I'm not gonna sit up here and cry. But I will say that it was frightening to not know what was going on with my body. Now I'm so happy that I've reduced the flare-ups significantly. Like I told you guys, I might get one a year, if that. I don't even think I saw one this year or last year. So I have been in great shape. But to not know what's going on with your body is a scary place. And I understand, because I listen to the strength of your emails that come into me when y'all tell me your stories. I relate, and I might not be able to respond to everybody, but this is my way of responding and tell you to keep your head held high. Hopefully working through the issue, working with a doctor, working with yourself, doing some research, and my videos will bring you some kind of relief. So hopefully this gave you a good look at what this is. So to tell you guys a little bit about my story, I was diagnosed with hidradenitis at about the age of 20, which we know is a tender age. I was in college, I was doing my thing, but I noticed that every now and again, especially when I was stressed out, and at that time, as you all know, I was 108 pounds heavier. So I was much heavier, so I had a lot more friction and sweating and a lot of other things happening with my body as well. So I went into the doctor because I didn't know what was going on. And to be honest, all I knew about at that time was sexually transmitted disease. diseases. I didn't know what was going on. All I knew is that I was getting large pus-filled boils, whether they came under my arms sometimes or down in that inner area of my thighs. I was like embarrassed because I didn't know what was going on or what was happening, and nobody was talking about it. So when I went to my doctor, she didn't really know a whole lot about it, and I had already kind of done some research, and she and I talked about it, and later on she did tell me she felt that it was hidradenitis, and so did I. So make sure that if you're going to go into the doctor, if you're afraid that this is what you're facing, go with research in hand. Not all doctors or healthcare providers know what this is. What I did was I went in when it was actually active. I showed her the scarring, she saw it, she knew what was going on, she was able to research, I was able to research, and that was what we came to. That was a big reason for why I made such a drastic change in my life and I lost most of the weight, because I noticed that there were a lot of areas of chafing and a lot of times rubbing up against my clothes, things like that were causing me great discomfort, and I was noticing that there were more flares at that time. The doctor also recommended that I lost weight at that time. Even though she wasn't very familiar with the disease, she thought that that would be good just because of the areas in which I was getting boils and scars. That's around the time that I went natural. I started really caring for my body. I started watching the things I was putting in my body and on my body. So it made me a lot more health conscious. It also helped me to propel myself to share my stories with you guys. And over the years, you all have really poured into me with emails and everything, letting me know about your hidradenitis difficulties. If you're really questioning something about your health, you should definitely go and see your doctor. It's always good to do your own research as well, especially if you know, or even if you don't know and you have a similar issue. It's always great to learn natural remedies and things that you can do on your own to keep yourself healthy. So while there's a lot of treatment options, including medication, today my whole focus is really showing you things you can do for yourself. Things that can really work, things that you might have around the house, and some things you might want to go out and get and try out. All the items that I'm talking about today can be found down below in the information section. If you can relate to my story, or if you have a story of your own, let me know by clicking like and also commenting down below with some of the things that you've endured, maybe because you don't know if you have this or if you do. We in a no judgment zone over here. We just like to discuss and we like to solve issues if we can. Let me jump right into some ways for you to reduce your pain, flare-ups, boils, as well as the scarring. I'm not saying to use all of these things at once. I'm saying to try what might work for you or what you already have around and give it a shot. See what might work for you. Everything does not need to be tried at once. And remember, I've always told you guys, sometimes it takes about 6 weeks or more to see a process through. Some of us want such a quick fix that we think that it should happen overnight, and it's not. Our bodies weren't built overnight. Our genetics didn't come overnight. It takes time. So be patient with your body. You might be causing yourself more stress, which means more flare-ups, by being too hard on yourself. So when I feel a boil coming on, or I think that something is happening right under my skin, I love to reach for a hot compress. But I'm very careful about this because a lot of times we think that a hot compress just has to be a warm towel. But I've learned, and I've done my research, dry sources of heat are much better for you because you want to keep that area dry. Remember, a lot of it is aggravated because those sweat glands are aggravated. So you want to make sure that you keep that area clean and dry. So what I love to use is my heating pad. Y'all have seen this in other videos. I have this link down below in the information section of this video, but I love it because it has adjustable heat settings, easy power button. It's soft and it's gentle, and I know that it heats to a nice capacity. I use it for everything, even my menstrual period and cycle, making sure that you keep a direct source of heat that's dry around you. Even maybe a hot water bottle. Those are really good as well because those are drier sources of heat. Dry sources of heat are good instead of reaching for a towel. And y'all know how I feel about towels and skin anyway, because towels can secretly carry bacteria. Even if you're very clean, that does not insinuate that you're dirty. But sometimes towels, over time, they just take in a lot of bacteria. And even in the washing machine, you can't trust that it gets 100% of the bacteria out. So the last thing you want to do with a boil or open scar is put something on it that could be a source of frustration for you later on. I think y'all can tell I have a great respect for it, but me and tea tree oil, we right here. I love tea tree oil and it's become one of my best friends. Tea tree oil is not only a great source for healing scars, but it's also antiseptic, antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral. I taught you about scars in a recent video, so this one is really good specifically at the scars caused by boils and acne. I never use tea tree oil straight. I always tell you guys that. Some people can. Some people's skin can handle that. bad, but my sensitive skin is only more aggravated when I do. So what I normally do is combine tea tree oil with like a coconut oil or a olive oil, and all you need is a few drops, and then you spread that on that area or around that area. I found this to be particularly helpful because my boils, I noticed, and I pinpointed this, and click like if you can relate, I pinpointed that a lot of times they would happen around my menstrual cycle. So I really keep the tea tree oil around then. So if I'm feeling anything weird under the skin, I go ahead and I reach for that mixture. The great thing about tea tree oil is it also can assist in diminishing the scar after your boil is healing. Whenever I use the mixture, I use it about twice a day. It helps to replace old skin cells with new skin cells. It soothes, it cleanses, and it also helps to tighten the skin. It reduces skin inflammation, and it offers relief from mild inflammation. One thing I want to remind you of is you never want to put anything like tea tree oil or any other treatment directly into an open lesion. My next favorite thing y'all have heard about before, I've talked about neem oil. I love neem oil to the core. It is an amazing oil. It reduces redness, bacteria, and also inflammation, which we know that most of these boils are really highly inflammation, which can lead to better healing of scars and wounds. I usually take a little neem oil, add it to a cotton pad, and rub it right over that area as long as it's not open. If you do have an open area, just rub it around that area. I do not put it inside the area. And if I do remember, sometimes I'll take it and mix it with just aloe vera gel, which is going to help to moisturize and soothe the skin, or I'll mix it with a little bit of honey or even a little turmeric. Y'all know I love my turmeric. And the reason why I like those combinations, those three separate combinations, is because they really help with the healing of scars and wounds. I find with the neem oil or even the tea tree oil, my boil area just starts to feel much better. It almost feels like it's starting to heal much faster when I use them. And speaking of turmeric, you should not be afraid of turmeric. Now, y'all have seen me use it in a gang of videos, and I know that turmeric can get messy. So I keep towels that are already stained with turmeric, and I don't let it get anywhere near my clothes. Also, if you're going to use turmeric, maybe keep things around like little gloves or even paper towels so you don't have to deal with the cleanup after. Turmeric has very strong anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and antibacterial properties. It can aid in reducing inflammation and may also help to prevent infection from forming. Y'all know I can get real extra with my turmeric mixes. If you want to keep it real simple, you can add a little bit of turmeric with a little bit of coconut oil or a carrier oil, something like olive oil, just something to give it a little bit of a nice rich property. I apply that and leave it on that area for about 15 minutes and let it dry. Now be careful, because some people will find that their skin is so sensitive that turmeric does not sit well with them, or they cannot leave it on the skin that long. If it becomes too warm or it feels irritated, wash it off and let your body calm down before you try it again. So another great quick remedy is honey. Y'all know I love honey because honey is a humectant. It puts moisture back into the skin. And a lot of times when we get these boil scars or we get these wounds or things like that, a big problem with them is not only just keeping them dry. First off, you have to really err on the side of caution because you have to put moisture back into your skin. So you have to watch it. Even though you want to keep the wound dry, you want to make sure that the skin around it is staying moisturized so that you don't cause further irritation. Which, as we know, if you got the right type of skin, it can cause more boils. Much like turmeric, honey has also been used for its antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties as well. Honey also has antibacterial properties that could help with preventing infections. So while you can do honey by itself, you can also mix a little bit of honey with a little bit of turmeric. I put all the exact amounts down below in the information section. So with this powerful mixture, I usually leave it on about 15 to 20 minutes and then I rinse it off completely. Now, if your skin can take it, here's some other quick remedies that are a lot stronger than the ones I've already mentioned. So I'm trying to step it up for you. Rubbing alcohol. It's a strong disinfectant. It helps to remove dirt and other materials from clogged pores. And I know for me, during flare-ups, it helps to reduce a lot of pain and inflammation. Give it a test run. Make sure that your skin can handle the alcohol. Basically, you just add it to a cotton pad and apply. Word of caution. If you've ever felt how rubbing alcohol feels on an open wound, oh my goodness, you will be on fire. So please avoid the open portion of a boil. If it's closed, I usually go over the whole boil. However, if it's open, unless you want to be on fire, do it at your own risk. But I'm very careful about making sure that skin has not broken open before I put rubbing alcohol on it. A next strong and powerful powerful one is apple cider vinegar. While I don't find this one to be as powerful in terms of reducing the flare-up size, what I do find is it prevents a lot of bacteria from growing, which reduces the probability that I'll get more boils. So I take a cotton pad with a little bit of the apple cider vinegar and I literally just let it sit on the area, just like I would the heating pad. What I find is, especially when it's fresh and the skin is not broken, I find a little relief in that. It keeps that area clean and keeps a lot of that bacteria away. This next one is big. Watch what you shave. So removing hair from the underarms and the pubic area could help to reduce your flare-ups actually, and a lot of research that I've done on it and with my own body, keeping that hair gone more regularly has given me so much relief. However, I do not and will not shave if I have an active flare-up. You are not going to shave over a boil or wound. And if shaving does not work for you, for some it just does not, make sure you go into your doctor or a dermatologist to find out the best move for you in terms of hair removal. While I have a lot of videos with shaving in them, I can't even count them. I have a recent one that's how to shave everywhere. Check that video out, but I'm gonna go over just some quick tips in terms of shaving, especially when you have hidradenitis. Now again, when you have HS, especially when it's active, you might want to choose not to shave. It can be a whole problem even when HS is not active. But what I start off with when I do shave, I like to ensure that the body has been fully exfoliated and all areas are clear of ingrown hairs or any problems with hair follicles, things like that. And that's a light exfoliation. So I use things like loofahs or brushes or a nice sugar scrub. I also use the best in a razor. So for me, my skin really likes this Chic Hydro Silk, which has a nice moisture band across it, and the nice bikini trimmer on the other end, which is electronic. And I also use my mirror. Honey, we have to check those hair follicles before we go over anything. You want to make sure, even if you don't feel it, you're not shaving over anything that could be active and cause you problems. And these blunted edge scissors are everything, because you want to cut down the hair first and minimize the amount of times you have to pass that razor across your skin. We know that with HS, that can add extra difficulties. In terms of what to shave with, you want something nice and thick and rich that's going to condition the skin. I either like Suave coconut conditioner or my personal favorite, which is the Pure Silk. Y'all know I rocks with this. It's really thick and rich, and it also has made sure that I have enough slip on my blade. You definitely don't want to be cutting and scraping at all, especially with HS. You only want a nice thin layer as well, because this is going to serve as a guide for you. It's going to help you to see where you shaved and where you have not, because you don't want to go over areas more times than needed. Remember, our skin is very sensitive. I also do the same practice between my legs up towards my pubic area and higher upper legs, which we know can be prone to a lot of these boils. When shaving, make sure that you're going with the direction of your hair, the way that it grows, the way your hair grows. That means you need to take time to investigate, look and see what you're shaving and in what direction you need to shave in. My hair tends to grow upward mostly and downward up towards that pubic region. So you want to make sure you follow that guide and only shave over the area once, especially underneath the arms and up towards that pubic area, or specifically in that area, because we know that's where HS lives. To minimize irritation, make sure that you take your time and rinse off completely and thoroughly with lukewarm water, not hot water, lukewarm, and also use a cold compress if you should need it after you hop out of the shower or wherever you shave. I then make sure that I moisturize, preferably with a non-scented lotion, and also with a little bit of oil to seal in the moisture. I have a lot of remedies over on my video on how to shave, and others that I've linked down below for you, so check those out for aftershave remedies. But I also make sure that I clean my razor with nice rubbing alcohol, which is amazing for killing bacteria, and I hang it somewhere or put it somewhere where it can stay dry and avoid bacteria. I also like to change my heads of my razor about every 5 to 6 shaves. This ensures that it's clean and good to go. The next thing is to maintain your hygiene. showering daily is essential for a person prone to boils and hidradenitis. You want to make sure that you're doing a daily wash of dirt and debris that ends up on your skin. You want to use a non-comedogenic body wash, something that's not going to clog your pores. You want to keep those pores nice and free. You also want to get clear and hip on the products that you use outside of the shower. So your lotions, your oils, your shampoos, and your conditioners, all of that can play a part in aggravating hidradenitis and boils. Let me give y'all some quick recommendations on the showering tip.
I ensure I bathe with a sponge or loofah, and I use Castile soap. This is the most mild and gentle form of soap on my skin, and I just love it. I also like to make sure that I get those sensitive areas that are prone to HS, like underneath the arms, all in the areas in which you can sweat, like underneath your breasts, also below, all the way up and all the way down. You want to make sure you're cleansing your skin fully. I usually run through this 2 to 3 times to ensure my skin is clean, and I'm only showering in lukewarm water. Hot water can serve as a huge irritant, so stop boiling your skin clean, y'all. And you also want to make sure you rinse thoroughly, and any items that you use to wash, hang them where they can dry thoroughly, and take your time and rinse those out when necessary as well. You can throw your loofahs and your sponges in the wash. Down below in my Lady V, I love to use Honey Pot, which is a nice cleansing foaming wash that I find safe to use across my body, does not irritate me, and you can get it scent free. I also use just my hands down there, and I do not rub hard. Another thing to keep in mind is making sure you're patting dry, and as far as my towel use, I only use my towels 1 to 2 times before throwing them in the wash to keep away from buildup of bacteria.
The next thing is eat more foods with zinc. It's no shock that most of the videos where y'all see me cooking or making things, I'm eating foods that are full of zinc. Zinc helps to reduce inflammation and swelling in your body. Foods with zinc include spinach, lentils, tofu, chia seeds, quinoa, avocado, almonds, oysters, crab, lamb, chickpeas, black beans, Greek yogurt, cashews, and even cheddar. You all see me cooking with a lot of these things often. You should also be making every effort to eat anti-inflammatory foods. These help to reduce swelling and inflammation. Following that type of diet can definitely help with reducing flare-ups, and also may help to reduce active flare-ups more quickly. Some of the things high on the list of anti-inflammatory foods include cinnamon, salmon, walnuts, green tea, ginger, dark chocolate, oily fish, fresh fruits and vegetables, and sources of healthy fats like nuts and seeds. Another thing that you should know on your quick list is to keep your wounds protected. When the boils start to heal and scar over, one of the best things in order to keep your scarring minimal is to make sure they're moisturized and they're covered, especially when you're going to be out in the sun. Make sure that you're cleaning that wound daily. You want to keep it clean, covered, and you also want to keep it more moisturized with something like an antibiotic ointment. I love making sure that I keep my wound wash around for just this purpose. And as it gets older, you want to keep it sun protected, so you'll want to add something like a SPF. I love the Mederma with SPF in it because Mederma helps to heal wounds and scars, but it also can have SPF. You have to buy the one with the SPF. Other than that, I love the Mederma Nighttime and the regular Mederma. Those are great gels and lotions to ensure that your body is starting to heal correctly. I promise y'all that it's been major key for me. So y'all, there's also deeper and more long-term treatment as well. In one of my recent videos, I showed you guys how to make an oil and a butter in order for you to have the most healing properties possible. It's just something for you to try. And if you're interested in seeing that video in full, which is all about getting rid of scars, wounds, and how to make sure that you get rid of dark marks and hyperpigmentation caused by the scarring, check it out at the link down below in the description box, and I'll make sure I link it in this video as well. So I want to end this video on the note of everyday fixes, just some quick common things you can do that might seem small in nature, but they help a whole lot. One thing is wearing more breathable clothing options. I found with more breathable clothing options, my body is able to feel free, feel more easy and breezy, not as much chance for those sweat glands to flare up or those clogged pores, and my body feels amazing. You know, it's not always about fashion with me. You guys love my flowy dresses and my flower child look. However, it's also for my health. A lot of the tight-fitting things that are going to cause chafing and rubbing against the body are not good for my skin. Remember to keep the area dry, especially when a boil or wound is open. If it stays moist, it's going to promote the growth of fungus and also bacteria. If you smoke, stop. That's it. That's all on that one. Because smoking is said to help in the aid of flare-ups.
Keep your clothes, towels, and shower area very clean. I wash things often because bacteria buildup, especially as a person who works out a lot or even not, can cause a lot of flare-ups.
And last but certainly not least, and let me tell you, this is not about fat shaming. This is not about telling you everything is due to gaining weight. Now, a lot of science and research does not say that this will work for everybody, but it will certainly work for some. Naturally working on your body weight and keeping it at a healthy level for you will reduce a lot of chafing, a lot of rubbing together, a lot of clogged pores, a lot of sweating, all of things that add to hidradenitis and boil flare-ups. So it may be a good idea to start to work through the pain and try to exercise a little bit to get your body size down as much as you can in order to avoid a lot of the sweating and extra moisture. It might be something that puts you ahead of the game. I know that it was great for me to do, and I'm not saying it's going to necessarily work and cure all your problems, but it might be a part of the solution. So I hope today has been beneficial for you guys. I know that hidradenitis suppurativa talks can be hard, especially if you don't know what's going on with your body and you don't know why. If you or someone you know has this difficulty, make sure that you save this video, save it for yourself, comment, share this video with someone who can use it, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Beautiful brown baby doll. Peace.
Special thanks to Jason Bowie of Trinity Media Solutions for co-producing and filming today's video. His information can be found down below in the information section. Thanks so much for all the love and support over on my new website. If you haven't already, go ahead and check it out and join me for new ways to interact with me, giveaways and prizes, weekly emails, as well as my free 8-day supernatural video course, which is free when you sign up.